Back live with you tonight on In Focus. The Land Party is proposing a collective farming program as one of the solutions to tackle food insecurity. It's also suggesting that general labor be reserved for locals only. Standing Committee member Leandra de Silva joins us now to expand a little bit on this. Leandra, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. Good, yes, thank you, and you.
Talk to us a little bit about the process that you have undergone to come up with these particular suggestions. What kind of study, research, whatever, what have you conducted that has allowed you to be able to collect this information and come up with this proposal?
Well, first and foremostly, we are a grassroots organization. We take our lead from the communities because we are a for-people organization. So we obviously go and find the problems that are the actual problems that are given by the communities, and then we go to people and places and countries. We look at where successes have been found and produced, where successful stories lie, and we study those, and they come from a variety of places and countries and philosophies and projects that have had success.
Yeah.
For the people.
So when you come up with a suggestion, for example, like give tools for the farming communities, previously in for example programs like the LRAD program, the CASP, and so on and so forth within the agricultural sector that have been tried, tractors were given to people, farmers in particular, or farming communities, and those tractors ended up just in their shed, rusting, and there was no farming that was happening in those particular communities. So how do you know that this would be indeed the kind of reform that will bring that change in that community, and those people would actually make use of that tool that they'll be given?
Well, I mean, taking what has happened in the past with what our government has tried, that's why we don't propose a cooperative farming system. We propose a collective farming system where it's not profit-driven, where it's driven to feed and sustain the communities, where it's driven to have communities save on spending money for foods that we can have. So, firstly, the intention is different. So the objectives are different, and the outcomes will be different. So, and then on top of that, we've spoken to the people. It's the people that are asking for these types of interventions because the cost of living is just enormous. It's unmanageable for most, in any case.
And are these people with maybe not vast stretches of land, but at least sizable enough stretches of land to be able to produce at a scale that will be able to feed those communities?
Yes, of course it will need, but it won't need, because it won't be a for-profit project. It will be to sustain. You won't need hectares and hectares maybe for a community. What we are suggesting is per community. We're not suggesting, there are communities that won't be interested in it, and that's okay too. So there's land available. In every municipality there's land available. And we have the technologies, or we have access to technologies that can make land usable in any case.
Tell me about the approach that you think we should be taking when it comes to addressing the question of unemployment.
Oh, excuse me?
The approach that you think we should be taking when it comes to addressing unemployment.
Yes. Well, okay, we propose an amendment to the Labour Relations Act, where we already have a part of the Relations Act the Labour Relations Act that speaks to equity in the employment sector. What we are saying is that equity should be extended to foreign nationals, to people that aren't South Africans, in the sense that we should be employing South Africans, 90% of South Africans, and the rest could be foreigners if it's there. That's basically what we are suggesting. And this again also it comes from the communities. It's an issue. It's a big issue. And employment is an issue amongst the poor, especially because you have people competing for wages, and they end up competing against one another for lower wages. And in the end, everybody wins except your employers, which is not the way it's supposed to be. So that's basically where we work from.
Yeah. Interesting suggestion that you're making, because part of the issues that, for example, has been raised by communities is that what ends up happening in townships, for example, is that people rent out their homes to foreign nationals to open up spaza shops and so on and so forth. You're saying we should put a limit even on that. How will that be enforced?
Well, there will have to be a lot of adjustments made to our policies and law enforcement and everything. First of all, I mean, that's not a simple question to answer. But what we're saying is that there shouldn't be. The locals should be profiting from the local land, basically. That it's about looking after the people first before looking after anybody else or anything else. The enforcement of that would need an overhaul of our policies towards businesses and small businesses and employment in total. But that's basically, again, that's where we initiate from.
And finally, on the power crisis, give me one or two big ideas that you think we could implement immediately that could help us get some relief from the energy crisis.
Well, first of all, we could look at the experts in energy, for one, that being Russia. We are part of BRICS. We should fully be taking advantage of our position there. They are experts, so why not? And we are also, we want to debundle or unbundle the crisis, I mean the energy sector, so that as it currently is, with the tariffs going up, the tariffs go up for poor and workers and owners of businesses and farmers and mining companies at the same rate. And at the end of the day, it is the poor that are suffering the most because of the percentage of their wages that they have to now give up as well. So what we're saying is that there should be different rates for different sectors of society. Those are 2 points at least.
Fantastic. All right, Leandra, much appreciated. Thanks for coming on. Leandra Silva there of the Land Party Standing Committee member. Some of the suggestions that they are saying should be implemented that could certainly benefit poor communities and fight unemployment.